Welcome back to Soul Growth Stories, where we explore the profound lessons hidden within the fabric of our daily human interactions. In every workplace, there is always someone like Leo, a man whose voice fills the room before his presence is even felt. Then there is Sam, the quiet observer who sits in the corner, letting his work absorb his attention rather than seeking applause. These two distinct personalities represent an eternal conflict in life: the loud promise of potential versus the silent power of actual execution. One morning, the atmosphere shifted when the director called an emergency meeting to announce the company's most critical project of the year. Project Horizon was a massive undertaking that required not just creativity but a level of technical precision that few could ever handle. Before the details were even fully explained, Leo stood up, claiming he already had a revolutionary vision that would change everything forever.
Sam said nothing, merely nodding slowly as he took diligent notes, understanding that the true challenge lay in the hidden details. The director decided to let them both lead separate teams, a direct competition to see whose approach would yield the best results. The very next day, Leo was found by the coffee machine, broadcasting his genius ideas to anyone who had the time to listen. Meanwhile, Sam had disappeared into the archives, burying himself in historical data to ensure his foundation was built on facts, not dreams. By the end of the first week, Leo was already celebrating a victory he had not yet earned, basking in premature glory. Sam remained at his desk long after the sun went down, grappling with difficult problems that required patience and absolute mental clarity. Leo spent more time curating his public image on social media than he did actually addressing the complex issues of the project.
Sam filled whiteboards with complex diagrams, constantly refining his strategy, willing to tear everything down and start over to achieve perfection. As the weeks flew by, a shadow of anxiety began to creep into Leo's eyes, though he continued to wear his mask. Sam finally found the breakthrough he had been searching for, his silent persistence unlocking a solution that no one else could see. Watching Sam work with such quiet efficiency, Leo felt a knot of insecurity tighten in his stomach, realizing he was falling behind. Desperate to maintain his facade, Leo began assembling a presentation filled with stolen ideas and flashy graphics that lacked any real substance. Sam prepared his report with no frills or decorations, trusting that the undeniable weight of the truth would be his strongest asset. Even with the deadline looming, Leo was out drinking with friends, loudly proclaiming that the project was already a guaranteed massive success. Sam stayed behind in the quiet office, double-checking every single calculation, ensuring that there were absolutely no errors in his final work. The day of the presentation arrived, and Leo walked into the room looking like a movie star, ready to charm the audience. Sam entered quietly, taking his seat without fanfare, his presence almost invisible compared to the loud energy radiating from his colleague. Leo took the stage first, launching a presentation that began with dramatic sound effects and dazzling animations designed to distract the eye. He spoke in grand metaphors about changing the world and shifting paradigms, yet he carefully avoided mentioning any specific details or plans. When the director asked a simple question about operational costs, Leo froze, his confidence shattering as he stumbled through a vague answer. The room grew uncomfortable as everyone realized that behind the flashy exterior, there was absolutely no substance to support his bold claims. Leo ended his speech abruptly, waiting for applause that never came, sitting down in a heavy silence that spoke volumes about his failure. Then it was Sam's turn. He simply plugged in his laptop, displaying a clean, logical interface devoid of any unnecessary distractions. He began to speak in a calm, steady voice, skipping the introduction to dive straight into the core of the problem. He presented a working prototype that he had already tested, proving that his solution was not just a theory, but a reality. When faced with difficult questions, Sam answered with precision, backing up every single statement with hard data he had collected over weeks. The skepticism in the room evaporated, replaced by a deep respect as everyone recognized the immense amount of work Sam had done. Leo sat quietly in his chair, shrinking with every passing minute, realizing how empty his loud promises sounded compared to Sam's results. When Sam finished, the director stood up to applaud, and the entire room followed suit, honoring the undeniable quality of his work.
The director shook Sam's hand warmly, praising his dedication and declaring his project the new standard for the entire company to follow. As the meeting dispersed, colleagues flocked around Sam to learn from him, while Leo slipped out the back door, unnoticed and alone. From the hallway, Leo watched Sam helping others, finally understanding that true leadership is about service and substance, not just loud words. Leo looked at his reflection, stripping away the ego, and made a silent vow to change his approach from that day forward. The next morning, Leo approached Sam not as a rival, but as a student, humbling himself to ask for guidance and advice. Sam did not gloat or boast. He simply pulled up a chair and shared his knowledge, proving his character was as solid as his work. Over time, the office saw a change in Leo, who began to speak less and do more, finding satisfaction in quiet progress. There is an old saying that tells us, empty vessels make the most noise, while the full ones remain steady and silent. Like a deep river that flows with silent power, true competence does not need to announce itself to be felt by everyone. When we stop trying to impress others with our words, we free up our energy to create things that actually matter. The world is built by those who show up and do the work, not by those who merely talk about doing it. Respect is a currency that cannot be counterfeited with words. It must be earned through the hard labor of consistency and results. Sam teaches us that humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less while focusing entirely on your contribution. Just like a seed that must be buried in the dark silence of the earth to grow, our best work requires quiet focus. Let your actions be the sound that echoes in the room, for a masterpiece never needs to explain why it is beautiful. In the end, the barrier between the two men dissolved, replaced by a bridge built on the solid foundation of shared effort. So remember this lesson: work hard in silence, and let your success be the only noise that the world ever hears. Somewhere out there, in the quiet corners of the world, millions of people are building the future without saying a single word. Be one of those builders. Be the person who finds joy in the process, rather than seeking validation from the applause of others. Transformation is possible for everyone. We can all choose to step away from the noise and find our power in the quiet. As the day ends, ask yourself, did I spend my energy talking about my goals, or did I spend it achieving them? Life rewards the doers. It honors those who understand that the weight of action is always heavier than the weight of words. Let your shadow do the talking until your results light up the room. Thank you for watching this story of growth and realization. We hope it inspires you to find power in your own silence. This has been Soul Growth Stories. If this message resonated with you, please share it and join us for our next journey.